Amazing Spider-Man 129 is dead. Long live the new king. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm your host, Lawrence, over at Mighty Comics Collectibles, and today, of course, is the breakdown. Now, what I do in this video, I take key collectors' hot 10 comics of the week, and I break them down for everyone out there, letting you know which books I'm buying at which prices, and of course, which books I'm staying away from. But before we get started in the video, I remind everyone out there, if you're not a current sub of the channel, you're missing out on videos like this. Hit that sub button, smash the like button for yours truly, and with that out of the way, let's get to this week's breakdown. Starting us off this week at number 10 is Uncanny X-Men number 100. This classic battle between the original X-Men and the new X-Men. 7 copies broke the average this week with a high and a graded 9.2, selling for $288 and up 2% over the average. Next up, we had a graded 8.0 sale for $230, up 21% over that average. And finally, a graded 7.5, selling for $174, up 22% over the average. This is only the second time in 2025 that Milestone issue 100 has ranked on the Hot 10 list. For me, I don't want to spend crazy money on this book, but I will say this, it is a nice X-Men key, a minor key I would love to own, but do your due diligence. I'm sure you can get a nice raw copy for cheap. That's what I would do. Other than that, I'd probably be staying away. Back on the list at number 9 this week is Predator number 1, the first appearance of the Predator in a standard comic. 6 sales beat the average this week with a high and a slab 9.8, selling for $474, up 9% over the average. The Predator lands on the Hot 10 for the 4th time in 2025. For me, I'm not a huge Predator fan. I don't really feel like owning this book, not something I would be into. Other than that, 9.8 for under $500. So if you are, I'm giving it a blessing. For me, I'd rather just own a nice raw copy just to have in the collection. For the second week in a row, at number 8 this week is Amazing Spider-Man number 50, the trifecta, the first appearance of the Kingpin, this classic storyline Spider-Man No More, and this iconic cover by John Romita Sr. 6 sales beat the average this week with a high with a graded 6.0, selling for $1,000, up 8% over the average. Next up, we had a graded 4.5 sale for $697, up 13% over that average. And finally, a graded 3.5, selling for $475 and up 6% over that average. Down 5 spots from last week, ASM 50 qualifies for the 10th time in 2025. You guys know how I feel about this book, one of my top 5 Amazing Spider-Man books that I probably want to own in my collection. And guess what? I actually do. I'm always going to give this book a thumbs up. Just get it for the best price you possibly can. Another week, another McFarlane cover. At number 7 this week is Batman number 423, and this classic cover by Todd McFarlane. 5 copies beat the average this week with a high and a CGC 9.8, selling for $1,750 and up 7% over the average. Next up, we had a graded 9.6, sell for $470, up 13% over the average. And lastly, a graded 9.2, selling for $300 and up 31% over the average. Man, that is a lot. Todd McFarlane's best-known Batman cover experienced a huge surge in demand over the past few weeks due to the Heritage Auctions lot that included the original art. You guys know I love this cover, one of Todd's best, and I'm a huge Batman fan, but I always thought that this book was way overpriced for what it is. That is just my gut on this one. I don't want to spend $1,800 on a 9.8. You can get yourself a nice raw copy, a great presenting copy, that's what I do. But if you're okay buying a 9.6, 9.4 graded, go for it. Speaking of Todd McFarlane, at number 6 this week is Incredible Hulk number 340 and another iconic Todd McFarlane cover. 6 sales beat the average this week with a high and a CGC 9.8, selling for $1,339 and up a crazy 31% over the average. Then we had a graded 9.6, sell for $450, up 15% over that average. Hulk 340 makes its 11th appearance on the Hot 10 list in 2025. Just like Batman 423, I want to own this book, but I am not overpaying for this one. 9.6, 400 and change. You probably get a nice raw copy for $150. That's for me what I'm going with. I don't want to overspend on any Copper Age books. Back on the list at number 5 this week, and this makes 3 in a row, is Spawn number 1, the first appearance of Spawn. 3 books by Todd McFarlane, back to back to back. 14 sales beat the average this week with 8 in a 9.8. The high of the week was $167, up 29% over the average. We also had a 9.8 newsstand copy sell for $580, up 4% over the average. This is the third consecutive week that Spawn number 1 makes the Hot 10 breakdown. I don't understand why someone would want to pay 30% over the average on a book that's readily available. I have no idea how many are in a 9.8, but I will say this, there are literally a million copies out there of this book. You should own the book if you're a big Spawn fan. I will say that for $150, no problem. If you want to spend the money, go for it. Other than that, if you're not, I'm staying away. Our second DC book hits the list at number 4 this week is House of Secrets number 92, the first appearance of the original Swamp Thing, Alex Olsen. 6 copies broke the average this week with a high in a Slab 8.0, selling for $3,120 and up 4% over the average. Next up, a graded 7.0 sale for $1,950, up 5% over the average. And lastly, a graded 5.5, selling for $1,425 and up 13% over the average. House of Secrets 92 lands on the list for the third time in 2025. To me, if you're buying DC Bronze, this is the book I'm going to start with. A great book. Black cover to boot, so it's really hard to get in higher grades. Very expensive in higher grades. It's up to you whether you want to go that route and get the higher grade or just get a nice 5.0 copy. That's what I had when I owned one. Other than that, I'm definitely adding this one to the collection. You just got to be a long-term holder. Rounding out the 3 spot is another Bronze Age key. It is Incredible Hulk number 181, the first full appearance of Wolverine. 6 sales beat the average this week with a high in a graded 9.4, selling for $10,499 and up 3% over the average. Then we had a graded 8.5 sale for $5,100, up 6% over the average. And finally, a graded 7.5, selling for $4,100 and up 8% over the average. In just about 5 years, the value of Hulk 181 has doubled, even after the crash. Wolverine's first appearance ranks for the 10th time in 2025. You guys know me, for a long time I was saying hold off, hold off, hold off. I've been telling you over the past few months or so, I would be buying this book, but it has to be for the long term. I love it. It is extremely popular. Always be able to sell your copy, so I'm not really worried about that. I just don't know where the jumping off point is for this book, and of course, at what grade. But if you're a big Wolverine fan, it's a must-own. Dropping 1 spot to number 2 this week is Amazing Spider-Man number 300 and the first full appearance of Venom. 10 sales beat the average this week with a high in a CGC 9.8, selling for $2,650 and up 6% over the average. Down 1 spot from last week, ASM 300 makes its 25th appearance out of 42 weeks on the Hot 10 breakdown. I say it every week, just like ASM 129. Yes, I want to own this book, but do you want to spend $2,500 on a 9.8? If you haven't watched my new PSA video that I did on Shortbox, the recent auction they just had, 1 copy just sold for $1,700 and change, so you got to be careful. All right, a lot of copies out there of this one. I do want to own the book. I myself own a 9.2 signed by the Todd Father. That's what I went with. Up to you of how you want to play it. If you want to get a 9.8, be careful. If you want to get a lower grade, go for it. And finally, at the top spot, I am so happy to see this book on the list and at number 1, because this book is number 1. It's Amazing Fantasy 15 and the first appearance of Spider-Man. 4 sales beat the average this week with a high in a CGC 5.0, selling for $45,600 and up 6% over the average. Next up, a graded 3.0 sold for $23,500, up 8% over the average. And finally, a graded 2.5 selling for $24,299, up 12% over the average. You heard that right. A 2.5 sold more than a 3.0. Everything depends on presentation. Remember that. AF-15 and Spider-Man make the hot list for only the second time in 2025. How is the greatest book in comics not on this list every week? You know why? It's because they're going by the number of sales and how many times the book sells for over the average. So how many times does an AF-15 sell? Probably not as much as a lot of these copper books. Remember that. Either way, this is the greatest book in comic history, according to me. With that said, it's always a buy. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and another week. Some great books this week, some of the same that we have been seeing. It is now time for my best buy of the week, and you guys know what it is, right? It's an easy one this week. It's Amazing Fantasy 15. Always 100% it's a buy as long as it's a nice presenting copy, complete, blue label. I'm a buyer, no questions asked. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, happy collecting, and I'll talk to you guys soon.